So let's get right into it. I'm going to say that number one is choosing a product. When you choose a product, you want to choose something that is, you know, cohesive to the person that you are. So, meaning, pick something that you truly love, pick something that you can relate to so that it makes it easier to sell, and it also makes it easier for you to come up with ideas, because I feel like a lot of times people choose, okay, I'm going to sell lashes, and you know, just speaking in general, I'm going to sell lashes, but I'm not a lash tech. Did I say lash? I meant to say lash. I'm not a lash tech. I don't even wear lashes myself. I'm just doing it. What kind of sense would that make if I started selling lashes and I don't wear lashes? I'm not a lash tech. It's just not my thing. It made no sense, because at this point you don't even know what direction you're coming from. You don't know what type of audience you're targeting, and you honestly don't even know what product you're selling. So before you start selling anything at all, you want to make sure the product is cohesive to who you are. Make sure the product is something that you know knowledge of, or something about, like, you know, something like that's easy. So that's number one. Two, I'm gonna say that number two is pick a name that relates to you. I know when I first started my bathing suit line, I picked the name Sphinx. I only picked that name because it was cute. I had wrote like 10 names down. I know I want to do something. So I think I'm going to do a bathing suit line because I love bathing suits. I love fashion altogether. I've been sketching stuff since I've been 8 years old. I'm not a drawer, but I used to sketch outfits. So I was like, I gotta do something with fashion. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna do bathing suits because I love, love, love bathing suits. And later on, I might do something else, but it's always gonna be the topic of fashion. So I was like, all right, let me pick a name. So I picked a name randomly because I was looking up cute names or Egyptian names, and I just wanted it to look cute. I didn't think about the meaning of it, or if somebody asked me what am I gonna say. Like, I just didn't think about that type of thing. I just was like, I want something cute, and that's it. I came up with the name, and it was okay for when it was or whatever, but it was just like, okay, you got this name, you don't know nothing about it, it's no background. I started to revamp my bathing suit line last year, and I changed the name 2 years ago. And I came up with the name Maybe Swim, only because it meant something to me. It is my grandmother's name. For me, I felt like she represented consistency, and she represented consistency and um, never changing. And by never changing, I mean like always the same. So I felt as though, okay, that's what I want to give my audience, or my buyers, or the girls or the women that are buying my bathing suits. I want them to feel like they can always come to my website to get a bathing suit, and I'm consistent with them, whether they're 20 years old or 40. So that was my whole thing. And now when people ask me, you know, what's the name of my bathing suit line and why did I choose that, I get a better reaction, because it's like, oh wow, like, okay, like that's real. Like I can relate to something like that. So that's why I chose the name that I chose. So when you're picking a name, make sure the name makes sense to you in some type of way. You know, it can always still be cute, but you want it to make sense to you, because if it doesn't make sense to you, it won't make sense to anybody, and then it just it won't go, and it will feel forced every time. So just make sure you pick a name that is dear to you or you can relate to. Okay, so the next one is a business plan. Once you pick a product and you pick a name, a business plan needs to be in place. because okay, I was dating a guy and he was like, you know, what's your business? What kind of business are you running? And mind you, he was an entrepreneur. So I was like, I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you what my business is because you gonna judge me. Or I'm the type of person, I can't find rejection. I hate rejection, and I don't like to be like, oh, like you need to do this, that, and the third. Like I hate that. I absolutely hate that. So he was asking me, I wouldn't tell him. So then I finally told him, like, you know, I'm doing a bathing suit line. So he was like, that's cool, like that's good. And then he asked me, he was like, okay, so do you have a business plan? And I was like, do you have a business plan? At this point, I didn't know what a business plan was or anything. So I did some research and I finally figured out what a business plan was, and I did the business plan. And I was like, at first I was thinking like, this is so extra, like I just want to start the business and just start doing stuff. But the business plan helped me like figure out it asked me questions that, and they have all types of formats on Google. The business plan basically gave me all types of formats, and it asked me questions that I wasn't asking myself as a newly business or a new person getting a business. Like I didn't ask myself. I didn't know who I was targeting. I didn't know where I wanted to see my business in the next 2 to 3 years. I didn't know anything. So in the business plan, it kind of forces you to the business plan kind of forces you to like level up in your mind. Like it forces you to have an answer. It forces you to have an answer for your business. So it opened my eyes, even though I'm self-invested and most of the things that I have come from my money, or you know, whatever I do in my business comes from my money. So the business plan, I was like, what do I need that for? But it really helped, and nobody's going to invest in you unless you have a business plan. You can't go to a bank. So if you're self invested, that's cool. But if you need a loan to start your business because you plan on starting at a bigger platform or whatever, when you go to those banks, they're going to want to see a business plan. You can't go to them and say, oh, let me get 10K, I'm about to start a business, but I got your money. I got you. They're not going to want to hear that. They're going to say, okay, so how do you plan to pay me? Where do you see your business? Once you pick your product and you find your name and you start your business plan, the next thing you must do is do your research. Do your research about the business that you're in, your competition. Educate yourself. That's the best thing you can do, is educate yourself on everything, because what I did learn from myself is that the more you know, the less money you can keep in, until you're at a point where, you know, you can hand hats to other people and sit back and vacation. Conserve as much money as you can, especially since, you know, you're investing in yourself, or this money is limited. Right now you're not making the money back, you're putting the money out. So you want to have and wear as many hats as you can. I'm still, to this day, I've tried to learn everything. Like I'm fortunate enough to have friends who do makeup and hair, so I don't really have to, like when I had my first photo shoot, it wasn't hard. It was hard, but it wasn't as hard to find, you know, like a makeup artist and a hairstylist, because I have a family member who does hair, and then I have a best friend who does makeup. So none of it was hard for me. It was just like, okay, I can pull their, it was a, you scratch my back, I scratch your back. We all was able to pull from each other. So it was great. Like it worked out. Like it was like, okay, you come do haircuts and you come do makeup, friend. Like everything worked out. But if you're someone who doesn't have those type of people around you, or just getting to know those type of people, whatever, you know, you are selling, you want to learn how to do those things yourself, because that's less money that you have to give out. Like just wear many hats. Especially when you're an entrepreneur, you want to wear many hats. You want to know many things. So you have to research, research, and research. So the next thing, once you start doing your research, then it's time to it's the fun stuff. Like, you know, it's time to buy your inventory. And when you get your inventory, people always feel as though you have to start out with, you know, say I'm getting a red shirt. I need 40 small, 40 medium, 40 large. 9 times out of 10, you're not going to make any sales unless you have a community following. And even then still, you may have some people that want to buy something, but you're not going to sell all 120 of those shirts. When you buy inventory, don't feel like you have to press yourself to, you know, have a whole bunch of stuff. Because then you'll be stuck with all this inventory, and then next thing you know, the next season rolls around, and then you're trying to do something different, but you still have all this. So don't buy a whole bunch of inventory. Buy just enough. But that's that. Next thing I'm going to say, market. M-A-R-K-E-T. Market. Period. And I'm sorry, y'all. I'm so sick right now. It makes no sense. I'm disgusted. You have to market. You have to market, because marketing is what is going to sell. Marketing is what's going to sell your brand. So you really have to market yourself. You really have to put visuals out there, videos, pictures, everything. Like, bars of soap, pencils, whatever you have, you need to market. I want to say, once you buy your inventory and all of that, it's time for photo shoots, it's time for promo videos, it's time for commercials, it's time for giveaways, it's time for raffles. You need to market out of controllably, because when it's time to launch and say, okay, we're open for business, you need to have that anticipation and that following already there. And say it was 100 people on earth. If you market every day and you only have 15 people, 15 loyal customers, you did a good job. You did a good job. So market, 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 market is what I'll say. And that's the truth. And the next thing I'm going to say is, it's time to launch the business. Once you choose a product, you pick a name, you make a business plan, you do your research, you buy your inventory, you start marketing, you start getting video shoots, photo shoots, promos, all of that. And also, pause. One thing I do want to say is, it does not matter how much money you have, you can start your business. I started my business with $100. And you know what I got? I got 3 samples. I got 3 samples of the items that I was going to be selling, and I took those and I had a photo shoot with it. Now I have inventory, but before I had nothing but samples. So just because you have samples don't mean that you can't use them to your advantage. If that's all you have is enough to buy samples at the moment and you won't be able to get inventory for another 3 months, photo shoot. You need to use your samples to have photo shoots, promo videos, all of that. The inventory, the deadline for inventory is when it's time to launch and it's time for people to buy things. That's what it is. You don't have to have inventory when you're pre-launching. You just have to give them something to anticipate. So, please start. So, the last thing, after you've done all of that, and that's all together, launch your business. You know, you get your website set up, or however you're going to do it. You can start your Instagram page and take emails and do it that way until you're able to get a website. Or you can do, you can set up a big cartel which is $0 a month, until you start to build that revenue and that traffic. That's when you start revamping. But this is a basic e-commerce video, so this is just starting. Once you start moving up the ladder and everything starts to move, your traffic starts to come, that's when you'll revamp. Like, that's when you'll start getting the fancy schmancy stuff. But don't jump head first and like, oh, I need to do this, I need to do that. If you have the money to afford to do so, please do. But if you're just now starting, that's fine. Work with what you have. Progress is everything. Progression is everything. And you will have those loyal people who grow with you, and they'll see how far you come. And honestly, me personally, I think it's a beautiful thing to watch people come from a caterpillar to a butterfly. So if you're starting and everything's not together, don't panic. It's gonna come. You just need to start. When I started my channel, I honestly was like, I'm not starting my channel until I get the ring mirror, the backdrop, this, that, the cameramans, the security guards. Like, you don't need all of that. You can just start. Period. Poop. Period. Poop. Period. Poop. Period. Poop. Well, that's my advice on starting a e-commerce video, 5E. That was like, I don't know how many steps that was, but that's what it is. Like, you gonna start it or what?